the Lord, mightiest prophet of the Lord.
Amen, Pastor Joanne. The Lord bless you. Now, you see, I am calling from GRЯДÖT in Botswana, and I would like to share with your listeners quite an important conversation that the Lord has brought forth unto me yesterday. Well, the Lord has spoken with me, and this conversation is of profound gravity and significance and importance to the church. And that's why, even as late as it is Kenya time, I guess it's coming to about 12:30 a.m. in the morning, I have decided to still relay the conversation at this time. And of course, the other time zones across the earth. Now, the Lord spoke with me yesterday, and in yesterday's conversation, the Lord, the God of heaven, He showed me a pillow that you use on the bed when you're sleeping to support your head, a pillow. And in that pillow, He told me that He had written a handwritten letter, a message for me, and that letter He placed inside the pillowcase. There is the pillow and the pillowcase. So the pillow cover, so He pushed the letter between the pillow and the pillowcase inside, and He pushed it to the end. So again, He told me that He had hidden for me a letter there, and He wanted me to pull it out and read that letter. And I remember too well that when I pulled out that letter in that mighty dream, and then I opened, it was folded. It was a full A4 paper, handwritten and folded 3 times. So I opened it, and there it was, the letter that the Lord wrote. Much of the content of the letter I cannot share at this time, but most importantly, what came out, what is central in that letter, in that message, is that the Lord is talking about the glorious coming of the Messiah. And in having a conversation about the glorious coming of the Messiah, in writing me a letter about the glorious coming of the Messiah, He has also articulated and emphasized the need for the church to prepare and be righteous and be holy. Again, I want to repeat this conversation. In that dream yesterday, before I left Kenya, yesterday at night, the Lord spoke with me in a very profound and astounding way. And in that conversation, He told me that He had written for me a letter and placed it inside a pillowcase. The pillow and the cover of the pillow, the cloth that covers. Between the pillow and that cloth, He pushed the letter to the end. And He made me know that He had saved it for me there. He has kept it for me there. He has hidden it for me there as a treasure. And so He asked me to go ahead and pull out the letter and read it. So yes, indeed, when I stretched my hand, then I found the letter that was preserved, was hidden there by the Lord. And when I pulled it out, a white paper, a white A4 full scuff paper, and handwritten, not typed, handwritten by blue pen. And then it was folded 3 times, and then I began to read the letter. The content of the letter touches on many things I may not share now, including the work that the rider of the pale horse has done until now, but more significantly though, is about the glorious coming of the Messiah. And so he talks about the glorious coming of the Messiah without divulging the greater detail of this letter, and the fact that the Church of Christ, needs to get ready for that very reckoning day of truth, the day of the ring, the day of righteousness, the day of glory the day of holiness, the day of the Messiah, the day of the kingdom of God. And so, this comes right on the heels of my mission here to Botswana. And of course, I know that this is a conversation. He is speaking to the entire earth. Now, I want to tie that with the second part of the conversation, where the Lord showed me. He shows me that, look, the midnight hour is about to strike. And I remember in that dream, I knew that I could see. He showed me the midnight hour, and he showed me 1 o'clock after midnight. That's the zone after midnight. He showed me the midnight hour, and then he showed me the time after the midnight hour. And I remember, again, he said that it is absolutely imperative that everybody prepares very well, because the midnight hour is about to befall. This still comes within the context of yet another conversation at which he wrote. He wrote for me the kingdom of God, meaning his kingdom is at hand. He wrote, and this time he wrote in a very interesting way, in a typed way, right in front of me, like 1 foot. 1 foot before me, in front of me. Now, to put all this together for the church, the Lord has continued to relentlessly pursue the church, that she may prepare for the glorious hour that is at hand. The Lord is saying that even in all conversations put together, the visitations, the healing, the glory that descends, and every single conversation and prophecy that he has sent me to speak and that have come to pass, he says the bottom line is that they were all meant to prepare a people unto the Lord, a people unto the Lord, to prepare a people that belong to Jehovah, a people that now pursue righteousness with greater zeal, a people that constitute the righteous, holy, mature, statured, perfect bride of Christ. And in all measure and standards of Bible, we see that indeed the Messiah deserves a perfect, holy, spotless, without stain, without wrinkle, kind of bride that these conversations are underscoring. And I want to still bring your attention to the other vision, the previous one, where, again, in that conversation, the glory came from heaven, and the glory did not come straight, it came in rays, and yet it formed like a dome, because the glory went to the horizons, the ends of the horizons of the earth. So as I was standing there, as I stood there, and the glory coming from heaven, the glory formed like a dome. I felt like I was standing under a dome of the rays of the glory of the Lord, because the glory came from heaven and was running to the horizons of the earth. So it became like a dome, formed like a dome cover of the glory of God over the earth. And the glory was touching the farthest horizons. And then I remember very well when the voice spoke and said, "Look, the Lord is coming." And that, I remember that at that time, when I looked in the direction facing east, in the farthest of east, it happened like when you normally see that rain, there's going to be a storm. A rainy storm is about to befall far away to the horizons. Many times when it's going to rain in the farthest land, in the horizon, sometimes you see lightning, pia from that side, pia, lightning, even sometimes you see it from heaven going down like that from the sky. That is how it happened. When the voice said, "Look, the Lord is coming," then all of a sudden, when I looked in the direction facing east, it was as though normally happens when there is going to be a rainy storm on the farthest end. So the lightning did pia. So after that, then I understood really indeed what the Bible said. In a flash, in the twinkling of an eye, now I understand very fully what the Bible intended, what it meant, because it happened like lightning, pia, in a flash, in the twinkling of an eye, in the direction of east. But most importantly in that conversation, of course, was the fact that the Lord spoke from that point, and he said, look, the Lord is coming, but the church is not ready. The majority of the church is not ready. He let me know that the church out there is not ready. And then after that, the Lord threw me down on the ground, so I found myself rolling on the ground in the dust, in that mighty, mighty, mighty conversation. And while I was rolling on the ground in the dust, I found myself also gnashing my teeth, grinding my teeth. And then I woke up. And I think that was the most important way in which the Lord underscored. I began to understand that the Lord has now made me feel and made me see and let me know how the people that will miss the rapture will be rolling on the soil and grinding their teeth when they realize that finally this thing has happened. And that's why the summation and the summing up of all these conversations, all these prophecies, all these visitations, all these signs and wonders, all these miracles is this relentless pursuit the Lord has launched on the church that she may prepare. Every conversation is geared towards preparing a holy bride, a righteous bride, a mature bride, a bride without wrinkle, without stain, without spot. And I think there is still so much work to be done. This is he about whom it is written, that I'll send my messenger, my servant ahead of you before the day of your coming. May those who have ears prepare for the coming of the Messiah. Shalom.